जेवे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे कनक बरण रूप नयन तारा गोपी जन मन लोभा प्रेम पसरा कनक बरण रूप नयन तारा गोपी जन मन लोभा प्रेम पसरा विरहिणी राधा मन कांदे आकुले विरहिणी राधा मन कांदे आकुले मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे अंतर देवता थाई अंतरे मारा सेवक सजे सजा धनु मोहरा अंतर देवता थाई अंतरे मोरा सेवक सजे सजा धनु मोहरा एतिकी अड़ी ठाकुर तब पयरे एतिकी अड़ी ठाकुर तब पयरे मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे खोजी हुए मन दर्शन पाई खोजी हुए मन दर्शन पाई नयनुलोतक झरे नयनुलोतक झरे मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे मुदित नयने जेबे तुम्हारू झलसी जाए अंतरे
भवबन्धन मोचन पूज्य वरं गुणहीनमशेष गुणाधिपतिं भवभीरुजने सततं वरदं प्रणमामि गुरुं शिवकल्पतरुं प्रणमामि गुरुं शिवकल्पतरुं
जय गुरु माँ बोलो तो
जय गुरु। জয় গুরু। বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম সুরমুনি সেবিত পদারবিন্দম সুরমুনি সেবিত পদারবিন্দম বন্দে শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম মাণিকনন্দন জগজ্জনবন্দন মাণিকনন্দন জগজ্জনবন্দন বিশ্ববিমোহন ভক্ত প্রাণধন বিশ্ববিমোহন ভক্ত প্রাণধন যাবৎ মধুরা ধরু ঝরে মকরন্দম যাবৎ মধুরা ধরু ঝরে মকরন্দম বন্দে শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম যোগী জনবদ্য স্বরূপ নিന്ദ്য যোগী জনবদ্য স্বরূপ নিന്ദ്য ভবরোগব বিদ্য ত্রিতাপভেদ্য ভবরোগব বিদ্য ত্রিতাপভেদ্য বাৎসল্য মমতা নীল বহে মন্দ মন্দম বাৎসল্য মমতা নীল বহে মন্দ মন্দম বন্দে শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম প্রীতি সুধা ময়ূখ গোবিন্দম শরণ পদ পঙ্কজে শরণ পদ পঙ্কজে শরণ পদ পঙ্কজে ত্রাহি গোবিন্দম বন্দে শ্রীনিগমানন্দম বন্দে 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 শ্রীনিগমানন্দম সুরমুনি সেবিত পদারবিন্দম সুরমুনি সেবিত পদারবিন্দম Bande Srinigamanandam. Bande, Bande, Bande Srinigamanandam. Bande, Bande, Bande Srinigamanandam. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Upadashamrita, page 153. Guru Dakshina, offering to Guru, and the mantra of dedication. Those who say that you have done unjust thing not by giving Guru Dakshina, indeed speak it out of their prevailing general impression. Otherwise, is there anything in this world by which one can give Guru Dakshina? Even by offering the entire world as a gift, the debt of Gurudev can never be repaid. However, it has become a custom in the society to give fees outwardly for the seva of Sri Gurudev. Otherwise, the real Dakshina comprises body, mind, and heart of a disciple. If one dedicates his body, mind, and heart at the feet of Sri Gurudev, it amounts to befitting offering of Guru Dakshina. Gurudev also desires for this type of Dakshina from disciples. Hence, dear child, surrender your body, mind, and heart at the feet of Gurudev in a simple and innocent manner. It would indeed imply the offering of Guru Dakshina. If the real Dakshina is offered, the result will be derived immediately. Perform in an unattached manner all the worldly works as the servitor of Gurudev. As a result, the fruits of the worldly works cannot touch you. Jai Guru.
जय गुरु नीलाचल सरस्वत संघ पुरी अमेरिका सरस्वत संघ 1013th Sangha Puja session report August 19, 2026 7:15 a.m. to 11:55 a.m. Palya Suprit Bhai Snigdhama and Chakra. Due to Ekadasi, Adhivasa Puja was not held. Attendance sheet is available on the website. The first session of August 9, 2026, 7:15 to 8:45 Eastern Time. The morning session of the puja started at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Time with the singing of Pratiksha song Ranka Dhana Tume Moro by Vrindavan Bhai, followed by Natha Tumoku Dekhiva Pai by Uditama. During that time, all the devotees joined the puja either at Nigamasmati Mandira or via teleconference. Sanujit Bhai offered Mangala Arati to Sri Sri Thakura, followed by Vandana and Stotra Vandana led by Niha Bhai. Biju Bhai read verse 79 from Sri Sri Guru Gita. Then Braja Bhai led the reading of Parichaya Patra Patha, followed by prayers for Samlani and Asana Mandira expansion Prarthana. Asin Bhai read Sangha Sevaka 30th year, second part, Vandana, Prarthana, and Prarthana Krinka Prati. Then Suprit Bhai invited Sisi Thakura, Bhai Ma, and young husband to attend the second session of the Sangha Puja that was scheduled to start at 9:45 Eastern Time. The first session concluded with Jai Guru Mahanam. After the session, Balyabhuva was offered to Sisi Thakura, Bhai Ma, and young husbands were served with prasada. Second session, 9:45 a.m. to 11:55 a.m. The second session of the puja started at 9:45 a.m. with the singing of Pratiksha song, Kaha Priyo Moro by Gyana Bhai, followed by Sedino Ko Asa Kari by Smita Bhai Ma. This was followed by Pranam Gana and opening of curtain at Nata Mandira. Devashish Bhai sang the Bandana Bande Nikhila Manasatava. Tarini Bhai read the Nigama Upadesa, Religion and the World, from page 152 to 153. Sonali Ma read minutes of the last Sangha Puja. Jagannath Bhai discussed Thakur's Upadesa and the importance of those in our life. Arpita Ma sang the Prarthana Sangita Muro Pade Khali Padere Guhari, followed by a question and answer session by Jagannath Bhai. The young aspirant session started with Prarthana Sangita Pede Bhagya Muro, sang by Astita. Swatima led the YA session by gathering the attendance of YAs. Then Jagrat, Suprit Bhai did their Bhavo Vinimay Sabha, followed by invitations for Madhyana Bhogo and evening puja. Jemu, Sandip Bhai and Usama invited Sri Thakur, all Bhai Ma and young aspirant to the next Sangha Puja scheduled for August 16, 2026. After that, Suprit Bhai prayed for forgiveness from Thakur, all Bhai Ma and young aspirant for any mistakes made knowingly or non-knowingly during the Seva. The session concluded with the singing of Vidaya Prarthana, Dayama Sucharani, sung by Suprit Bhai. The curtain was closed at Nata Mandira with joyful Namakirtana and Pranam. Vishwajit Bhai took the attendance of all Bhais Ma present for the puja. Then Madhyana Bhogo was offered to Sri Thakur, followed by Prasad Sevana by devotees. Sri Thakur Chanasita Suprit Bhai, Snigdhama and Jakran. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. This is Lila Prasanga, Part 1, page 29. This time, Brahmananda revealed his identity while giving his introduction, since he concealed the true purpose of his visit. The woman suddenly exclaimed, "No, Thakura, Brahmanandagiri desires the nectar of the lips of the daughter of the king of mountains. Which statement of yours is true?" Hearing this portion of the verse, Brahmananda was startled. He thought that no one knew his secret. How did this woman know? Is this her omniscience, or has the Divine Mother assumed this form to fulfill my desires? To fulfill the unjust demand of living beings, what grotesque forms does Mother Mahamaya not assume? Seeing Brahmananda deep in thought, the woman said, "She is the eternal manifestation of the universe." Brahmananda had no doubts left. As Brahmananda was about to leave his house, the woman held his hand and said, "Hey seeker, come, none of your desires will remain unfulfilled." Saying this, she pulled him near her. The mere touch of the woman's body caused the tears to flow incessantly from the eyes of Brahmananda. He was left speechless. He sat there motionless, as if the power of move his limbs and had vanished. Brahmananda could not discern whether he was asleep or awake. Like a long time acquaintance, the woman began to caress his body with affection. So much of adoration, so much care, so much nursing, Brahmananda had never experienced in his life. In this state, the woman said, "Thakura, you have become very overwhelmed. I will tell you a story. Listen." The woman started the story. There was a Brahmin who was living with his wife and several children. They were living with great comfort and ease, but living the same kind of life doesn't bring excitement anymore. Everyone desires to experience something new. One day, Brahmin called his wife and children and said, "We have been living here happily for a long time. Let us go and visit a place." Hearing about going to a new place, everyone agreed with immense excitement. But where to go? The Brahmin proposed, "Let Brahmin's wife go to her father's house. The children should go to their maternal uncle's house. After a few days, the Brahmin will go to his father in law's house. Everyone will travel to various places for a few days and then return." Hearing this, the boys and girls burst into laughter. They said, "In that case, everyone will go and meet at the same place." Brahmin, pretending a little ignorance, said, "How is that possible? Someone will go to the father's house, someone will go to the maternal uncle's house, and yet another will go to the father in law's house. Nobody will go to the same place. At this, everyone burst out laughing. The comical proposal was soon put into action. The housewife were quickly left for her father's house. The children also went to their maternal uncle's house. Upon arriving at her father's house, the housewife began to spend her life happily and comfortably. Since there was no specific work to do, receiving her father's care and affection, the housewife also started passing her days in idleness and amusement. The children too became mischievous due to the lack of discipline from their parents. They engrossed themselves in various games and pranks as per their own wishes. They forgot about their home, spending their time joyfully. They even forgot about their father. The Brahmin saw that the children were living joyfully and were not remembering him at all, and they were forgetting the fact that they had a home. Finding no other alternative, he set out for his father-in-law's house. Upon arriving at his father-in-law's house, the Brahmin saw the children had no desire at all to return home. Everyone had already forgotten about their home, considering their maternal uncle's house as their own home. Everyone was spending their time quite happily and comfortably. After explaining for a while, the housewife agreed to go home. To convince the children, the housewife helped the Brahmin to the best for her ability and also promised that she would convince the children and take them home. The Brahmin began to convince the children by explaining that this house is not theirs. Their house is more beautiful than this. Further, he said that their world is far more joyful. Let's go. Why stay here in a foreign land and suffer? While Ramani was telling the story, Brahmanand remained silent. Seeing him in that condition, Ramani said, "What's the matter, Gosai Thakura? Are you falling asleep?" Brahmananda was awake. He was listening very attentively to the woman's intention of narrating the story. He said, "Who is that Brahmin? Who is he? It seems to me that your story is somewhat mysterious. Tell the truth. Who are you? And who am I?" The woman burst out into laughter. Who knows what illusion was present in that laugh? It was as if a dream world had been created inside that room. With a smiling face, the woman said, "You are the Brahmin, you are that Brahmin. I am the Brahmin's wife. These inhabitants of the worlds are our children. Come, let us take them home." While saying this, the woman laughed aloud. At that laughter, Brahmananda became frightened, terrified, and startled. He started to run away from the woman, but couldn't. After a short while, the woman smiled softly and sweetly. This time she said, "Thakura, why wait anymore? Begin this worldly family life according to your desire. I have been waiting here for you." Brahmanand said, "I understood everything, but marrying you is also problematic matter. To live in a society, one must abide by caste and religion. Why were you not born into a Brahmin family? Had that been the case, there would not have been no obstacle to marrying women. Thakura, I don't belong to any caste. To me, a Brahmin and Chandala are all equal. You shouldn't have restriction either, as you are a sannyasi." Brahmananda was startled. He is indeed a sannyasi. He shouldn't have caste discrimination, but how can he become a worldly man by marrying again after being sannyasi? If he does this, people will certainly condemn him. Furthermore, he will have to fall from his religion. He began to think about various things in this manner. Seeing him silent, the woman said, "Thakura, what are you thinking? You haven't accomplished the spiritual practice of any ashrama. If there is even a trace of worldly desire and craving, the right to sannyasi doesn't arise. You definitely have to marry. You have to go out to the world only after fulfilling the attachments of the worldly stages of life. Only then you will be the true sannyasa. Forget that you are an ascetic. If you cannot forget the innate cultural traits of a Brahmin, then there is no particular harm. Brahmin can indeed marry girls of all castes. This is sanctioned provision in scripture. I will make all the necessary arrangements to gain worldly support. You don't have to worry about that. Hearing everything, Brahmananda said, all right, I will act according to your advice. The woman spoke again, listen, after the marriage, you will not have to worry about the household at all. You will enjoy the worldly life at your heart's content. But remember one thing, never disrespect me. I will never tolerate anyone's disrespect on any day. If you disrespect me, I will leave. Keep this in mind. According to that, Brahmananda said, what should I call you? The woman said, my name is Parvati. I am a mountain dweller, hence you will call me Parvati. My nickname is Paro. You will also call me by that name. Now go get sleep now. There is a lot of work to do tomorrow. Brahmananda went and fell asleep in his designated area. Jagannatha also fell asleep with colorful imagination of her human play. Both woke up early in the morning and completed their morning routines. Parvati called a young man from the village, and said, "You have to go to Durgapur with him. Our landlord resides there. He is the head of our society. His permission is required for our marriage. Take this gold coin with you. After meeting him, you will inform him of everything, and you must act according to the orders and instruction he gives. Tell him that I am agreeable to this marriage. Then he will have no reason to object." Brahmananda quickly got ready and set off towards Durgapur with the young man. The village of Durgapur still exists not far from the city of Kramala in the state of Bengal. Brahmananda arrived there. The Jamindar arrived at the drawing room and took his seat. Gradually, the room became filled with Brahmins, pikes, scholars, and members of societies. Each of them expressed their respective request. The Jamindar offered advice to some, provided orders to others, rewarded some of the people, and then gradually uh, began bidding farewell to everyone. Brahmananda was completely unfamiliar to this visitor. Therefore, as the Brahmana's attention fell up, as Jamindar's attention fell upon him first, he presented the gold coin given as a gift by Parvati and made his statement. Having been informed of all the matters, the Jamindar said, "Hello, Gosai Thakuro. Did you not find a Brahmin girl anywhere else that you decide to marry Dinu, the fisherman's daughter?" Citing the mythological story of Parasar and Matsyagandha, Brahmananda finally said, "Paru has consented to this marriage." After consulting with the courtiers, the Jamindar decided that he had no objection to granting consent to this marriage. However, in order to introduce the practice of a Brahmin accepting a meal from a fisherwoman's daughter, nearly 100 Brahmins from other villages would have to be fed to their satisfaction, and each of those Brahmin must be given one gold coin as an offering. Brahmananda agreed to the proposal of the head of the society and returned, taking the written letter of approval for the marriage. Hearing all the news, Parvati was thrilled. On the specified day, the marriage duly solemnized. Since the Jamindar, the head of society, was pleased, no difficulties had to be endured. Through scripture's rites, Parvati became Brahmin's wife. At the conclusion of the feast, the Brahmins and the villagers departed. Someone remarked the Gosai Thakuro, mesmerized by the girl's beauty, spent all his wealth to marry her. Others commented that Dinu Behra had a lot of money and his daughter inherited all the property. Brahmananda began living happily married life with Parvati. After 5 years of married life, they had one daughter and son. 5 years passed by. Having forgotten his true nature, Brahmananda became immersed in a worldly attachment and attachment and deluded by Maya. Started living household life with Mahamaya. One day, a guest arrived at the door of the cottage and accepted their hospitality with great interest. This guest was no ordinary person. He was Purnanandagiri, the disciple of Brahmanandagiri. As a Gutika Siddha practitioner, Purnananda possessed the ability to travel freely through the sky, invisible to others. However, it was beyond his capacity to cross over the abode of his guru or any perfected sage. Empowered by his mystical accomplishment, Purnananda was traveling through the aerial route towards Kamakhya. En route, while attempting to pass over the house of Swami Brahmananda, the power of his mantra weakened, forcing him to descend. He realized with absolute certainty that perfect sage was residing in that area. Therefore, he deemed it appropriate to meet him before proceeding. Purnananda appeared at the door and inquired about the identity of the homeowner. He was utterly astonished the moment he discovered that his supreme revered Gurudev was the owner of the house. Later, through the power of meditation, he comprehended that under the influence of Mahamaya, his Gurudev had become engrossed in worldly life like an ordinary man. He then learned that to shatter his worldly attachments, Mahamaya herself had voluntarily taken the form of a woman and made Brahmananda a householder. Feeling highly amused, Purnananda accepted the hospitality of the couple. Initially, Brahmananda could not recognize Purnananda. This did not please Purnananda at all. He wrote a Siddha mantra on a banyan leaf and gave it to Brahmananda to read. Remembering his past life of spiritual practice, Brahmananda became extremely astonished. After that, he embraced his beloved disciple Purnananda and began shedding continuous tears. Gradually, as the emotional outburst of their hearts subsided, they began sharing with each other the events that had occurred during their separation. Goddess Parvati gratified her husband's dear disciple Purnananda with appropriate food, drink, and dedicated service. It is said that this time Purnananda asked Parvati how long she would keep Brahmananda bound. In this response, Goddess Parvati said, very soon his worldly act will come to an end. At this time, Goddess gave a direct order to Purnananda to write a book regarding Shama Puja. Under her order, Purnananda wrote a famous tantric text named Shama Rahasya. This book is still prevalent in the community of seekers in an authentic text. After staying the Guru's house for some days, in this manner, Purnananda set out on a journey. After the departure of Purnananda, Brahmananda's attachment to the material world gradually began to decrease. He has now regained his previous knowledge. Nevertheless, from time to time, under the influence of Mahamaya, he becomes overwhelmed for a while. He no longer had any attachment to the worldly affairs. He always absent mindedly started thinking about something. A few days passed in this manner. Suddenly, one day, due to an unexpected event, his worldly bondage was severed forever. The incident is given below. One day, Brahmananda was sitting for a meal. Goddess Parvati was sitting near her husband and making him comfortable with the hand fans. Someone nearby village was frying hilsa fish. There was no fish in the meal that day. Due to the smell of the fish, Brahmananda expressed his desire to eat fish. Even though Mahamaya was residing in the form of ordinary woman, she was always eager to fulfill all kinds of desires, small or big, of Brahmananda. Brahmananda, the master of the house, did not know at all where the daily necessities of the household came from. If there was even a slightest flaw in his comfort and convenience, he would complain to Goddess Parvati. The housewife also did not make any mistake in fulfilling his husband's desire to the best of her ability. For this reason, sometimes she had to use a little divine power. That is exactly what happened that day today. As soon as Brahmananda desired to eat fried hilsa fish, Goddess Parvati extended her right hand through the window path, and within a moment she brought the fried fish and placed it on Brahmananda's dining plate. Brahmananda asked the housewife, "Where did you bring the fish from?" The housewife replied, "The daughter in law of the Muslim household was frying the fish, so I brought a few pieces." By the time he had already put a portion of the fish into his mouth. Knowing that the fish had come from a Muslim, he flared up rage and, a split of a second, slapped Goddess Parvati. Goddess Parvati did not say a word. Her body began to tremble like a creeper struck by the wind. Brahmananda got up, leaving his meal unfinished. After rinsing his mouth, he re entered the room and saw Goddess Parvati was sitting at the same place. She was trembling intensely. Goddess gestured for Brahmananda to come closer. As Brahmananda approached the goddess Parvati, Goddess Parvati spoke in a voice as deep as thundercloud. "Listen, Brahmananda. Remember your past promise. Your connection with my physical body for this lifetime has been severed. To fulfill your prayer, I had assumed this appropriate body. This body will now be destroyed. After the destruction of my body, you will suffer a terrible blow. There is no doubt about that. But now that there is a purpose to this as well, after me, it will be possible for you to remain in this worldly life. Therefore, I'm giving you some commands and instruction. Listen." Brahmanda was looking at Goddess Parvati in a still and motionless manner. Now, upon hearing about her leaving the body, he burst into tears. He then went to embrace Parvati. The goddess' lifeless body collapsed upon him. Holding the body in his lap, he cried out loud. Hearing Brahmana's voice, both the son and daughter came running. They too began to cry. Following that, Brahmananda heard Goddess Parvati speaking from the void. "Be calm, Brahmananda. People will arrive here right now. Listen to my command. There is sufficient wealth stored in this house. Give all this wealth to the head of the community and tell him to raise the two children and grant them a place with the Brahmin society. You must now enter Sannyas ashram, the order of renunciation. For your own well being, I had drawn you into this worldly life. The purpose has been fulfilled. Your sannyasa dharma will not be harmed. Travel to holy places for some days and purify yourself. Spend the rest of your life in austerity. And while praying for a boon, you will made me carry a stone and some days carry a stone for some days. Therefore, in your next birth, you live your childhood in ignorance. Do not be sorrowful for that, because every action definitely has some fruit. However, this is merely a premonition of your grand fortune. After that, I will liberate you from the mortal body. In the next birth, you will born in the same village of some village of Nadia district near Bengal. In that birth, I will remove all your imperfections. You will become a universal guru in the world and dedicate yourself to the world auspicious work of Jagat Guru through propagation of Sanatan Dharma. Those who have come in contact with you in this birth will be born as your companions. As soon as you become a guru, the memory of your birth will be awakened. You will assist in the propagation and preservation of Sanatan Dharma by establishing the seat of Jagat Guru in the specific places connected to your memory. Do not fear, I will always remain with you. By the time people from nearby villages had arrived, the dead body of Parvati was
जय
cremated.
भाई रोक दे
Jai Guru.
भाई रोक दे टाइम नहीं है
जय गुरु भाई प्रार्थनामध्ये
आगे जय
जय ठाकुर की मीनाती पाता रे की मीनाती तुम सेवारे ए देहर प्रतिरकत कणिका लागु प्रिय तुम सेवारे एतिकी मिनति पदरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे तुम मन लाखी मंदिर मोहिबी सेवक होइबी तहिरे तुम मन लाखी मंदिर मोहिबी सेवक होइबी तहिरे एका एका सबु सेवा करी जीवी एका एका सबु सेवा करी जीवी मन को पकाई पछरे मन को पकाई पछरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे तुम पद चला पथ मोहिबी हाथ धरी नेबी बुलाई तुम पद चला पथ मोहिबी हाथ धरी नेबी बुलाई तुम निवासर दुआर होइबी तुम निवासर दुआर होइबी जगिबी दुआरी मोहोई जगिबी दुआरी मोहोई एतिकी मिनति पदरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे तुम रंग पद पादुका होइबी पादास्थल हेबी तुमर तुम रंग पद पादुका होइबी पादास्थल हेबी तुमर पिकदानी हेबी धूपदानी हेबी पिकदानी हेबी धूपदानी हेबी दीप हेबी तुम पासर दीप हेबी तुम पासर एतिकी मिनति पदरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे आखि को तुमार जाफल दिशिब हेबी से पदार्थ सुंदर आखि को तुमार जाफल दिशिब हेबी से पदार्थ सुंदर रसना को जाहा सुआद लागिब रसना को जाहा सुआद लागिब होइबी से भोग संभार होइबी से भोग संभार एतिकी मिनति पदरे एतिकी मिनति पदरे पाचक होई मो भोग रान्धि देवी माँ परी देवी खुआई पाचक होई मो भोग रान्धि देवी माँ परी देवी खुआई सखी पद सेवा मु करिबी सखी परि पद सेवा मु करिबी से जो होई देवी सुआई से जो होई देवी सुआई एतिकी मिनति पतरे एतिकी मिनति पतरे तुम सुख मोर देह सुख हेउ चित्त वृत्ति हेउ आश्रित तुम सुख मोर देह सुख हेउ चित्त वृत्ति हेउ आश्रित जीवने मरणे सेवा करुथिबी जीवने मरणे सेवा करुथिबी धरा अनुरागी निरत भरा अनुरागी निरत भरा अनुरागी निरत जीवने मरणे सेवा करुथिबी जीवने मरणे सेवा करुथिबी भरा अनुरागी निरत एतिकी मिनति पतरे एतिकी मिनति पतरे ठाकुर एतिकी मिनति पतरे ए देहर प्रतिरकत कणिका लागु प्रिय तुम सेवारे ए देहर प्रतिरकत कणिका लागु प्रिय तुम सेवारे एतिकी मिनति पतरे एतिकी मिनति पतरे एतिकी मिनति पतरे
Jai Guru, Yogi Guru, page 155. Shabda Shakti and Nada Sadhana. The power of sound and the practice of Nada. Shabda, the sound, is Brahma. Prior to creation, there was only the presence of Jyoti, that is light, without any form of Prakriti and Purusha. At the beginning of creation, that all-pervading Atma, in the form of light, manifested identically as Nada Bindu. Parama Shiva is the Bindu, and Bhagavati, that is the goddess, Tripura Sundari, representing inextinguishable self of Kundalini, is Nada. Ati Bindustato Nado Nada Shakti Samudbhava Nadarupa Mahesani Vidrupa Paramakara Bhayabha Sangha. The name of the original Prakriti, that is the primordial nature, is Para Prakriti. Therefore, Para Prakriti is primordially energy, and the self of Nada, that is the five basic elements, originate from the primordial nature. At first, Akasa, that is space, was created. The attribute of Akasa is sound. Hence, sound was produced prior to creation. All when Mahabhutas, that is the great elements, were gradually produced from sound, and more so, the entire universe was created from it. Therefore, the architects of the scripture have mentioned Nadatmakam Jagata, the universe of the manifestation of Nada. Thus, see how powerful the sound is. The sound is composed in the heart of the sages with extraordinary yogic powers has emerged as mantra with assumed spiritual powers. What is not achieved by sound? Someone is lost in the enjoyment of friends of the same age. At the time, if he hears the sound of the pathetic crisis in the nearby place, he cannot remain quiet and lost in the merrymaking. I may not like a person, but if he honestly admires me with the sincere words, my heart must melt, my heart must melt away. All are connected to one another by only by sound. When the reminiscence of the previous words rejuvenate in the mind and we hear the sweet melodies of the cuckoo and the humming sound of the black bee, again the sound of the thunder and the cries of the peacock produces different feelings. Mind forms the image of the formless. Sound is the life of song. Therefore, man is charmed and spellbound by listening to sound. Man is hypnotized by sound. The universe is organized by sound. Hurry and horror are not different from another, that is sound. न नादेन विना ज्ञानं न नादेन विना शिवः नादरूपं परं ज्योतिर्नादरूपी परो हरिः. Nada is endless, Nada is infinite, and Nada is immense. So the architects of the scripture say, Nada badhestu paramparam na janati saraswati adyati majjana bhaya tumbham bahati bhakti. The statement is true. The seeker of Nada and the Tattvajnani yogi can realize the truth of this statement. When the goddess Saraswati does not know what exists beyond the sea of Nada, it is ridiculous on the part of an ordinary person like me to explain the self of Nada. The other name of Nada is Para, that is supreme. This Para or Nada is placed in Muladhara, that is base of anus. Pachyanti is Swadhisthana, and Madhyama in heart, and Vaikhari in mouth. अहेद अहेद मांतरं ज्ञानं सूक्ष्म भागत्मना स्थितं यत्तये स्वस्य रूपस्य पद्धतेन निवर्तते. That's the inner knowledge lying unexpressed in the subtle Bhagatma, the sound of the soul of sound, gets expressed as the sound in the form of Vaikhari. This means our inner knowledge lies unexpressed in the subtle form. Why any emotion emerges in mind, that unexpressed inner knowledge becomes expressed as sound through mouth in the form of Vaikhari. The first sound in the form of Nada arises from Muladhara Tatma, that is the lotus of Muladhara, and proceeds towards heart. Swayam Patyasya Pashyanti Susupnamastrita Bhavet Saiva Hutpankajam Kapya Madhyama Nada Ritini. The Nada, that is the sound, is spontaneously and constantly arising from Anahata Padma at the heart. Ana, Ahata, Anahata. It means that the sound at the heart arises of its own accord without any ahata, that is right. That is why the lotus at the heart and the holding ground of Jiva is called Anahata Padma. In the absence of Sadguru, the sound of Nada is not realized by mind, which is clouded by ignorance and worldly attachment. The fortunate sadhakas, by adopting the methods mentioned, can enjoy the divine joy by hearing so far unheard and extraordinary anahata dhvani, that is sound produced without any striking, arising out of its own accord. mind gets absorbed easily and quickly, and the sadhaka gets liberation by adopting these methods. ଏଇଠି ରଖିବା ଆଉଠି ପଢିବା
ଆଉଠି ପଢନ୍ତୁ ଜୟଗୁରୁ। ଭାଇ
the nada sadhana is chief among various types of yoga. The method of practice is very easy and comfortable. Shankaracharya, the incarnation of Shiva, has said, Nadanu samadhinekam manyamahe anyatamam layanama. The sadhaka, that is the practitioner, will hear nada dhvani by practicing it in the appropriate manner, and he enjoys supreme ecstasy as a result of attaining samadhi. He who knows this nada tattva is a true yogi guru. Yoba parancha pastanting madhyamapi vaikharyam chatustayang vijanati sa guruhu parikrititah. Navachakreshwar. It means that he who knows thoroughly Nada Tattva, comprising Pora, Ashanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari, is a true guru, performs sadhana by listening to advice dealing with yoga from such type of guru. Otherwise, you will be definitely swindled if you are merely swayed away by pompous grace or lecture. There is no iota of doubt in it. From the aforesaid minimum hint of Nada Tattva, the readers can definitely know that Nada is Adhyasakti, that is primary power. While discussing other subjects, I have told you earlier the principal purpose of japa, tapa, sadhana, bhajana is to accomplish the awakening of Kundalini Shakti. Hence, any sect, whether Shiva or Vaishnava or Ganapatya, may take any amount of pride in exhibiting its own speciality by all these sects are worshippers of Shakti in some form or other. There is no salvation without Shakti. This proverb, the very well proves that fact. How many people do know about the basic tattva and dharma, that is religion? If they had known it, they would not have cleaned the path of hell by showing their own speciality. I know that there are some Vaishnavas who do not offer their pranama to the image of Shakti, do not also accept prasada, that is food offering offered to Shakti. What a foolishness. Prakriti and Purusha are one. Therefore, Bhagavan, Durga, Kali, etc. are not different but one. If Vishnu, Krishna, Shiva, Kali, Durga, and the others are not treated one and the same, there is also no way to reach the frontier of sadhana. It is mentioned in the scriptures.
Joy, we will start from there. Joy Guru. So quickly we'll go over what we discussed or read in Sangha this morning. Vijay read that. So this time the focus is on Samshaya, meaning as doubt. So they explain that people doubt on the existence of God. People doubt on the power of Guru. So God and Guru. So some think that God doesn't exist, or even God exists. What can He do? Is He all powerful, Almighty God, or not? All these things. Similarly, for Guru, those who have taken shelter under Guru, sometimes feel that is my Guru capable of doing this, or whatever Guru is suggesting me to do, will that work, or will not that work? So that doubt, and we all at some point in time or not, or might have had a same feeling that Thakur said this one, will this work or not? Particularly those of us doing Kriya. I've been doing Kriya for so long. What is happening? Is it working or not? Am I making progress or not? So the discussion was really about doubt. The opposite of doubt is faith. Having strong faith. Thakur has said that when you pray to Thakur or to God, I ask for jnana, bhakti, and vishwas, right? Vishwas, the faith. Without faith, we cannot make any progress. We have to have strong faith that yes, this will happen. Our Thakur is all powerful. If I pray to him sincerely, he will grant me what is good for you. Good for me, rather, I should say. Anyway, so that was the primary discussion in Sangha Sabha today. We have about 3 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, please ask.
भाई गोटे जो आम आज पढ़िले जोगी गुरु
आज्ञा
जो लास्ट से कहते माने जो शक्ति आलोचना करछन्ती ताके सेठी जो ट्रांसलेशन राइट इट डजंट फील लाइक इट्स राइट सो सेटा जो क्वेश्चन पचारछन्ती जे हाउ मेनी पीपल डू नो अबाउट द बेसिक तत्व ऑफ धर्म एंड सी सेटा को ये करछन्ती एक्सप्लेन करछन्ती दैट इट इज अ रिलीजन आई डोंट थिंक दिस धर्म मीन्स रिलीजन
Yeah, dharma, yeah, because it's AI. I think probably,
जोगी गुरु ट्रांसलेशन था
oh, जोगी गुरु
जो लास्ट में पढ़े नहीं कि शक्ति को करे
yeah. Exactly where भाई सेटा कोता
भाई पेज नंबर 158 का वेरी लास्ट सेंटेंस
अच्छा ना भावे अच्छा how many people do yeah you are right. I'm looking at the Bengali. I saw the English one. I'm looking at the Bengali one also. The Bengali says धर्मेर मूल तत्व कयटी लोक जाने. You are right. This is not exactly about religion. It's basically the spiritual practice or those that way it should be taken, I believe. Yeah. Yes, I mean there are some issues. I think last time I also pointed out another statement that was translated differently. Gives a total different meaning altogether. Yeah, that happened. Even our today's translation is noticing that the Lila Prasanga also in a couple of places I noticed that there were little minor issues here and there as well. So yeah, okay. Well, it's time. Or this week, if you're present there, please start the join. Yes, काटे डिस्टर्बेंस आसुची मजे मजे टिके देखंतु म्यूट कर दियंतु नले
Tiger सागरे उधारे नवे पाताड़रे जाहि देखा ताहि अच्छी मोरे सागरे उधारे नवे पाताड़रे जाहि देखा ताहि अच्छी मोरे रूप मोरा केवे पुणे मोहि थाय प्रकट केवे मोहि दूरे अछि निकटरे आसिबी पासारे डाक देले दूरे सागरे बुधारे नवे पाताड़रे जाहि देखा ताहि अच्छी मोरे चिरदिना मोहि भवरा भिखारी अनुभाव मुझे खोजाई तोहारी मोर नाम जय गाई तू अभय सबु माया मोह मन रे सागरे बुधारे नवे पाताळ रे जाही देखा ताही अची अची मोरे राजानी दिवसा दूरे पड़ाई बे सोरा रे पुगड़ा मथारे तो हरा रही मोकरा सीते ना बिचारा के बिया गरे बुधारे नवे पाताळारे जाताळारे जा खाता ही अची अची मोरे सागरे बुधारे नवे पाताळारे जाही देखा ताही आची आची मोरे.
Jai Guru Evening Express. We will start with attendance, and then I will ask Aditi to explain the meaning of the song she just sang. Aditi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Adhyasa, Aisi? Anhik? Ansh?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Anshu?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Arnav?
Jai Guru. Arnav is coming.
Jai Guru. Aryan? Rashita?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Jamu?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Divyam? Nivriti?
Jai Guru Ma, she is not able to join.
Jai Guru. Pratisha?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Pratish?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Raishi?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Sharanya?
Yeah.
Sarapat?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Sharanya. Sarapat? Charlotte?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Sarpat? Jai Guru. Bobby? Shilpi?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Shreyasi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jimmy?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Simran?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Siddhi? Shrija?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Suhani?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Ita?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Was there anyone who joined after I called your name?
Jai Guru, this is Bobby.
Jai Guru Bobby. And who is the other person?
Jai Guru, this is Aishi.
Jai Guru Aisi.
Jai Guru, this
Anyone
is
else?
Aryan.
Jai Guru Aryan. Anyone else? Okay. Aditi, can you go ahead and explain the meaning of the song you just sang?
Jaguru, the meaning of this song is that Thakura is present everywhere, and if you have strong faith in him, you can feel him near you. Even if you might not always be able to see him, he will always be there for you if you need him. When you get scared, take his name and your worries will go away. When you remember Thakura every day, your bad habits will eventually go away and you become a better person. Thakura will help you overcome your struggles, and when you continue to think about him all the time, you'll never feel lonely. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. I think it's always the songs, they say the things that we talk about all the time, but I think a lot of us have Jai Guru Purnama. So I think one of the things we talk about a lot is, when we're stressed out, you have a test, you're afraid of anything like that, we think of Thakura and we feel him with us, and it can make us feel braver. It can calm us down. That relationship that we have with him is very powerful in that way. So today we are going to continue reading the Gita. We've been reading chapter 11. It's a longer one, so it's going to be in 5 parts. We're on our 4th session of it. For now, we are going to have someone else read it. So Jai Guru Purnama is assisting her a little bit as she did last week. And we are going to read chapter 11 of the Gita. But before we get into it, there's a couple questions that I had for all of you to get us kind of remember what we've discussed so far, what we've read previously. I think the last time we read the Gita was in June for Samlani. Let's review a few key points of what's going on before we get into it, and also just some context of where this is going on. So some parts that some things that Arjuna says in these verses will make a little bit more sense. So first question that I have before we start reading is, in this chapter so far, what is going on? So in this chapter, Lord Krishna has revealed something to Arjuna. So I see, do you remember earlier in this chapter, what did Lord Krishna reveal?
Jai Guru, before this, in the previous part of the chapter, Krishna showed Arjuna his divine form and his whole form, and Arjuna was very surprised and overwhelmed by what he saw, because he basically saw the entire universe in front of him. Jai Guru?
Yeah. So essentially, we're seeing like the entire form of the Lord Krishna has revealed his true form, which is he gave Arjuna divine sight so he can perceive the entire universe, and we talk about how God is everything, he's everywhere, and all of that. And so he is visually seeing that, and as you said, it's really overwhelming him because it is a lot. And it's not something that we would be able to comprehend. He's only able to see it because of that divine, the divine sight that he has been given by Krishna in this point. So then, getting into the context of here, so we've gotten the full description of what it looks like when Lord Krishna reveals this form. We've gotten the we've gotten a lot of Arjuna's reactions. Like, he's like overwhelmed. He's like, this is amazing. Positive thought. He's bowing before the Lord, but he's also he's also terrified. So he has both reactions, and he's describing what he's seen, and he's going through kind of all of these stages of trying to comprehend what's going on. But this conversation that they're having is happening in a specific location, and their relationship prior to them having this conversation is also going to be important in what he describes in these next 10-ish verses. So before we get into that, Sonia, do you know where they are, where Lord Krishna and Arjuna are, where they're having this conversation?
See, Guruma, I'm not sure.
Okay. How about Simran? Do you know where they are?
See, Guruma, I'm not sure either.
Okay. So I guess does any volunteers, does anyone know when these two are talking? Where are they talking? What's the context of why they started having this conversation?
Jagru, this is Charlotte. I think they're having this conversation at the battlefield before the war happens. Jagru.
Yeah. So, if any of you have, I think some of you have read stories from or of the Mahabharata. So it's this that there's a war that happens, and it's between the Pandavas, which is Arjuna's siblings in his side, and then their cousins, and it's a war between good and evil, and Lord Krishna is on the Pandava side. They're the good side on this, and they're having this conversation. Those first chapters, which we read at this point a couple years ago, they're having this conversation as they go into this war, and Arjuna is thinking, should I even fight in this war? Is it the right thing to do? Because these are people I'm related to, these are my teachers. How can this be the right thing? And so they're having this conversation of it started with Lord Krishna explaining to him why he should be doing this and righteousness, and then it goes to who he is, and he's revealing these truths of these spiritual universal truths here, and that's how we've gotten to this point. But keeping in knowing this, that the context is that they're on this battlefield. Lord Krishna is acting as the charioteer. He's essentially driving the chariot for Arjuna. Arjuna is going to be fighting. So this is the situation that they're in. Charlotte, do you know what their relationship was before this war? Like, how do they know each other? Does anyone know how they know each other? Or what their relationship is during the Mahabharata? Okay, well, I mean, essentially they are the long. I guess the short thing is, they know each other. They are like they're friends. He trusts Krishna as an advisor. He respects him and all of that. But their relationship is like they have a personal relationship. They know each other well. Arjuna knows him in this context. He's trusting him in this battle, and he has that. But before this point, he didn't understand the full truth of who Lord Krishna is, not in this way. And so that's going to, when we read it, we'll discuss that a little bit more. But essentially, up to this point, you can think of them as, they know each other. They've had all of these interactions with each other, and it's kind of just like normal interactions that we have with other people, and that's going to come up. So with that, Aryan, would you mind reading the verses for us?
Jager, yes. 11.36. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, it is apt that the universe rejoices in giving you praise and is enamored by you. Demons flee fearfully from you in all directions, and hosts of perfected saints bow to you. O Great One, the original creator of Brahma, why should they not bow to you? O Limitless One, O Lord of the Devatas, O Refuge of the universe, you are the imperishable reality beyond both the manifest and the non-manifest. You are the primeval God and the original divine personality. You are the sole resting place of this universe. You are both the knower and the object of knowledge. You are the supreme abode. O possessor of infinite forms, you alone pervade the entire universe. You are Vayu, god of wind, Yamraj, god of death, Agni, god of fire, Varun, god of water, and Chandra, moon god. You are the creator Brahma and the great grandfather of all beings. I offer my salutations unto you 1,000 times, again and yet again. O embodiment of all, my salutations to you from the front and the rear, indeed from all sides. You possess infinite valor and might and pervade everything, and thus you are everything. Thinking of you as my friend, I presumptuously addressed you as O Krishna, O Yadav, O my dear friend. I was ignorant of your majesty, showing negligence and undue affection. And if, jestfully, I treated you with disrespect, while playing, resting, sitting, eating, when alone or before others, for all that I crave forgiveness. You are the Father of the entire universe, of all moving and non-moving beings. You are the most deserving of worship and the supreme spiritual master. When there is none equal to you in all the three worlds, then who can possibly be greater than you, O possessor of incomparable power? Therefore, O worshipable Lord, bowing deeply and prostrating before you, I implore you for your grace. As a father tolerates his son, as a friend forgives his friend, and a lover pardons the beloved, please forgive me for my offenses. Having seen your universal form that I had never seen before, I feel great joy. And yet my mind trembles with fear. Please have mercy on me, and again show me your previous form, O God of gods, O abode of the universe. O thousand-armed one, though you are the embodiment of all creation, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, carrying the mace and disc, and wearing the crown. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, thank you for reading that for us. Before we get into discussion, are there any questions, anything anyone needs to find? Okay. We'll start from the first verse, and as always, if anyone thinks of anything, we can discuss that. So, and this first verse that we have here, verse 36, Arjuna says that it's apt, apt meaning like it's fitting, that the universe responds in a certain way to this true universal form, Lord Krishna. So, what is the reaction that Arjuna says is fitting to seeing to seeing or understanding who Krishna is? Bapusha, what is the reaction that Arjuna says is fitting to understanding who Lord Krishna is? Pratyusha, are you still there? Pratyush, what is the reaction that Arjuna says? What are the two reactions that he says are fitting to understanding, like our, or I guess, correct reactions to seeing Lord Krishna as he is?
Jagger, Arjuna's reaction, or like the correct reactions, would be like, well, first being in like complete shock and awe of his form, and then also revering it and apologizing for any mistakes he made because of his ignorance. Jagger.
Yeah, so there's that positive reaction of like, this is magnificent, amazing, whatever adjective you can think of there, and just being so in awe and shock that all he wants to do is bow before. And then there's also, he talks about, you touched on a bit there, there's this reaction of fear. So, everyone, it says the universe rejoices in praising and is enamored by you. And then there's fear. Demons flee fearfully from you in all directions, and all perfected saints bow to you. So there can be fear, if you've done something, if you feel like you've done something wrong, or you're doing something wrong, then that's going against that, you're going to feel great fear. But you're also going to have the other reaction of, if what you are doing is good, or you recognize that, then all you're going to want to do is kind of bow down before what he is and what he represents. Then moving on to those next few lines, it does kind of rehash some of the stuff that we've talked about before in these verses, of how he is everything, and he's how he relates to the entire universe. We'll just take a couple of these because in the previous chapter as well, he discussed this, and every time it describes what this form is, we kind of talk about it. So what a few ways that he says, you're everything, and he tries to convey this. One of them is he calls him the knower of all and the object of knowledge. And another thing is he calls them to be manifest and unmanifest. So he is the reality beyond both the manifest and the non-manifest, and he's both the knower and the object of knowledge. So, Sarsa, do you, for those two descriptions, how do you take them? Like, how do you understand them when trying to comprehend those two descriptions of the knower and the object of knowledge, and always also beyond both the manifest and non-manifest? Putting those together, how does that, what does that mean to you as to what Lord Krishna is, what God is? Bobby, can you answer that? So this description of him as the manifest, beyond the manifest and the non-manifest, and both the knower and object of knowledge, how do you interpret that when thinking of what God is?
Jagru, I think we can interpret that as he being everything, stuff that we can see in front of us and the stuff that we can't see, just him embodying everything. Jagru.
Yeah, it's just other ways to think of this concept as everything, specifically like the knower of all. So we too talk about him as omniscient, all-knowing. When we talk about Chakra, we talk about how he knows, everything about us, about what's happening, about the world. So we have that concept. And then the object of knowledge aspect of that is everything that you could know is also him. So it's just too obvious to think about this concept of him being everything. It's a very important concept. It's really difficult to fully comprehend, and so that's why there are all these different ways to try to explain that. Then we'll move forward to verse 41 and 42. Like he says, he says, I bow before you, but he's expressed this many times. He wants to bow, thousands and thousands of times. He mentions in verse 39. But in verse 41, his demeanor kind of changes, and he asks for forgiveness. So why is Arjuna asking for forgiveness, and why do you think? Why does he think he needs to? Yukta?
Jagru, Arjuna asks for forgiveness from Lord Krishna because as he was interacting with him, he wasn't aware of his greatness, and because of that, he believes he was treating him with disrespect. Jagru.
So he's like, I've been treating you like a friend. I haven't been treating you as that. I haven't been seeing you in this way. And, we have friends, we have a family. The way that we talk to them, like we can joke around, we can say things that aren't like the utmost, most respectful thing. We might not mean anything like harsh by it, but, we'll be kidding around with our friends or things like that. And he says, I've been doing all of that stuff, and this is who you really are, and please forgive me for that. You would feel really bad, like, I can't say these things to someone that I feel like I should respect this much, or you feel that. So kind of bringing it back to what we practice every day outside of here. This is how Arjuna is feeling, understanding who Lord Krishna is finally. For us, we worship, we take Thakura as our guru, and when we talk about him, we talk about all of these aspects of him, how he is everything and things like that. So taking that in mind, if we were to have this realization, if we were to think about our relationship with Thakura, how do you think you would feel in this situation? Do you feel like if you thinking about how you think of Thakura, if you were how you, when you're thinking of him and when you're talking to him, how do you kind of approach that? When you talk to him, like how, and you think of him, how do you think of him? Is it kind of like, is it friendlier? Is it like how you think of your parents, or is it more like how Arjuna is reacting at this point, where he's like, I shouldn't have ever been joking around about for you? Like, what is that relationship you tend to have when you're thinking of Thakura?
Jagru, I think I definitely have a humble and respectful relationship with Thakura, but it's also very friendly because I understand that he's always there, so he knows everything I've done. So I can just be straightforward. I can be friendly with him, and because he knows, what kind of person I really am, and then what kinds of dreams and expectations I have. Jagru.
Yeah, I think a lot of you do in your otherness kind of is that something. We're not all going to have that same relationship in the same way we think of him, but even with thinking of him as, we read these things about him, we think of him in this way as everything and all encompassing, and there's greatness to it. But I think a lot of you do have a more friendly, straightforward approach. So maybe, and for each of you, it's only you know what your relationship is with Takura. So maybe what we can all think about is, would this be our reaction? Do you think necessarily that that you can have that kind of friendly relationship and also have that great immense respect within that relationship with God? And that's something. So here for Arjuna, he feels really bad that friendly relationship and all of that. He says, might not have been as respectful. He is kind of a little worried about that at this point, and we'll hear Krishna's response next time we read. But then moving from that, after he has asked for forgiveness, he says, he asks for forgiveness again, and he says, forgive me like a father forgives his son, like a friend forgives a friend, or like the lover pardons the beloved. So forgive me for anything I've done within our relationship, in our interactions up to this point. So thinking about that forgiveness, Jagra, when he gives these examples of forgiveness, what is forgiveness like in those relationships? What is he asking for?
Can you repeat the question again? I couldn't hear you.
Yes. Sorry. So he asks for forgiveness, like how a father forgives son, friend forgives friend, a lover pardons the beloved. So what is forgiveness in these relationships, and thus what is Arjuna asking for from Krishna?
What Arjuna is asking from Krishna is that he wants Krishna to forgive the actions that he's already done to Krishna because of his first oppression, Jaguru.
Jaguru, yeah. So, because of his ignorance, he's asking for forgiveness, and he's invoking these other relationships. Like, within our family, we make mistakes and things like that, and our parents, welcome us back with open arms. Or within friendships, we can mess up a little bit. We can say something, and then we talk to each other, and it's forgiven, and we move forward, and we're better. And so he's saying, we have, like, in a kind of these personal relationships, forgiveness is there, and he's asking for forgiveness in that same way that forgiveness exists in these personal relationships that we have. So then finally, in those last couple of verses, he asks Lord Krishna for something that will make him feel a little better after all of this. So, Srija, what does he ask? What does he ask Lord Krishna to do?
Mom, he says that he calls Lord Krishna as a 1,000-armed one, and he wants to see him in his 4-armed form, carrying the mace and disc and wearing the crown, which is like the greatest one of all. Jacob.
Okay. So he's asking him essentially to, right now he's seeing this universal form, he's seeing everything, and it's too much for him. It's really overwhelming. It's too much to comprehend at once. He's fearful. It's a lot for him. So he's saying, please, I don't want to see this anymore. I want to see you in, like, still a divine form, but kind of like, think of it as one that we see in temples and paintings, things like that. Something that's more comprehensible. We're still seeing him as a god, but in a form that is more human. With that, we are for time, and we'll pick this up next time with Lord Krishna's response and discuss more then. So that is, I think Jemu has Vavunaya, so Jemu, when you're ready. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru?
I'm blessed to give my Pavani. I'm blessed to give my Pavani today. Tomorrow I start my senior year of college, which feels very surreal. I feel like the past 3 years and especially the summer has flew by. I was mentioning to my parents how I felt like I had Pavani pretty recently, like June and July, but as I kind of just reflected on what to write for this one and on the past 2 months, I realized my life has changed quite a bit. So this summer, I got my first glimpse into adult life as I completed an internship, and it felt very intense. And even if it was like a normal 8 to 5, it just felt very exhausting and mentally challenging. And I just wasn't sure how I was supposed to do this for the rest of my life. But in like to kind of help me through that, I asked Takura for guidance, and I just felt that every time I even thought of him, I felt supported. And it got easier day by day. But without the mental support and strength provided by Takura, I don't think I would have been as successful.
Because
I feel like
everything is
this
time we
doesn't just
cannot
happen this summer. So like throughout the past 3 years of college,
I
I've
had
faced
complete
different
money.
challenges from
How
things like classes,
there
friends, and
I
more. And throughout it
came
all,
in
I would ask
and
Tucker
it's
like,
a time
why are you doing
passing
this? It's
exam
impacting me
done for
negatively.
it
So, but as I kind of reflected, I feel
you
like
do it
I've
all
learned
done.
so many lessons
Hello.
through them,
The
and
order is
even if it was
I
many months
remember
later, if it was through
I
another
thought
Pavani I've done in
Ariel
the
ki দিয়ে দিবে
past,
আমার ছেলেগুলো
I
খুলে
feel
দিল
like I learned a lot.
yeah so I said Ariel ke দেবো বলে but I don't know where I kept
जगीर माँ ठीक है आप लोग का म्यूट कर रहा हूँ तो ठीक है म्यूट कर दिया तुम्हारा
भाई भाई ତାଙ୍କର ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ଭାଇ ଓ ଭାଇ ବିଶ୍ୱଜିତ ଭାଇ କି ସଚିବ ଭାଇ ତାଙ୍କୁ ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରିଦିଅ ଜୟ
Yes, Jimmy, please go ahead.
And I feel blessed that I had Tucker by my side through all these different things happening, and like I truly felt like I'm never alone. And I'm sure that throughout this next year, as I look forward to graduation, I'm gonna face many more challenges, and I know that I have Tucker through my side through all of it, and it helps that I'm close to Ashram if I ever need him. And I pray to Tucker that he continues to show me on the right path and helps me for this next year and onward, Jagru.
संदीप भाई
जय जय गुरु प्रणाम ठाकुर माँ भाई स्मित माने महाभयंकर अपार करुणारू मोर आज शिव पूजार पाई मिली निजक धन्य मन कर भाव विनिमय सेवा since my last party the last year has been life changing life starting rather right I lost my beloved mother at a very young age of 67 she was she was the pillar around which all of our life was built it has been challenging to adjust to this monumental loss and to fill the void that she left behind. We all have been trying. We have been trying really hard to adapt to that, to accept it and to move on. But after a while, everything around me is changing. You have been the constant. You have been the beacon of hope. You have been the shining light. That has been guiding me through this. It is only and only the warmth of your love and the blessings that is just keeping my life afloat. For that, I'm always grateful to you. सब दिन आम्ही पढुचे तरुणयोग माता असे पिता तरुणयोग. And every time I read this, I feel like that आपण मनी पकडून से गावात व्यस्त हो ना. I'm here. I'm here with you all the time. I know I don't, like, if I go and analyze what I do for you, I don't think I deserve your love. But you have been kind, right? You have been blessed me with your love and the blessings all throughout the way. ମୁଁ ସଦାବେଳେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହେ ଯେ ତାପରେ ଆପଣ ସିନା କହିଥିଲେ ତୁମେ ଆପଣ ମୋ ମା ବୋଲି, କଥା କହେ ମାକୁ ହରେଇକି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଗୋଟେ ଗୁଙ୍ଗା ମାଟେ ପାଇଛି. ଆପଣ ସବୁ କଥା ଶୁଣୁଛନ୍ତି, ସବୁ ଜାଣୁଛନ୍ତି, କିନ୍ତୁ ନିଜେ ମୁହଁ ଖୋଲିକି ପଦେ କହୁନାହାନ୍ତି. କିନ୍ତୁ ସେତେବେଳେ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଥା ମନେ ପଡି, ଯେତେବେଳେ ବୋଉ ଚାଲିଗଲା ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ କାନ୍ଦୁଥିଲୁ. ଛୋଟ ପୁଅ ଥିଲା, କହିଲା କଣ ମନେ ହେଲା, କହିଲା ବାବା ପାପା ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ୱରି, ଆଇ ୱିଲ୍ ବି ୟୋର ମାମା ଫ୍ରମ୍ ନାଉ ଅନ୍. ସେ କଥା ଶୁଣିକି ଭାବିଲି ଠାକୁର ତମେ ନିଜେ କହୁନ ବୋଲି ଯୋଉ ସମୟରେ ଯୋଉ କଥାଟା ଶୁଣିଲେ ମନର କଷ୍ଟଟା ମେଣ୍ଟିଯିବ, ସେଇ କଥାଟା କାହା ନା କାହା ମୋର ଶୁଣେଇ ଯାଉଛ ଆଉ କାନରେ ପକେଇ ଯାଉଛ ଯେ ଆଇ ଏମ୍ ହିୟର, ୟୁ ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ୱରି. ଆପଣଙ୍କର haven't been able to over the years haven't been able to do your puja on time. In fact, if there is a competing war between your puja and something else, I think the war khatar has taken priority. But in spite of that, ଆପଣ ସଦାବେଳେ ମୋ ଉପରେ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି. And I truly believe ଯେ ମୋ ଜୀବନରେ ଯାହା ବି ହଉଛି, ଯାହା ବି ଘଟୁଛି, ସବୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ଛାରେ ହଉଛି. ତେଣୁ ଜୀବନରେ ବେଳେ ବେଳେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଜିନିଷଟା ବୁଝା ପଡୁନି, କି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ମୋ ଚିନ୍ତାରେ ଜାଣିପାରୁନି ଯେ why certain things are happening, when I'm unable to justify things, at that point I believe, and I truly genuinely believe that even though I don't understand it, I know that everything that is happening around me is happening based on your wish. So I just try to accept that and move on in my life. In the Michael just ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ସବୁ କଥା ଭିତରୁ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ କଥାକୁ ଆଡପ୍ଟ କରିକି ଆମକୁ ଜୀବନରେ ଆଗକୁ ବଢିବାକୁ ପଡିବ. From the past year, I have been trying to adopt something that ଆପଣ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଗୁଣ ଦର୍ଶନ. ଜୀବନରେ ଆମେ we see a lot of people, we hear a lot of things, right? Sometimes we hear things, but we do not get the clear picture of the perspective. Sometimes we hear negative things, there are negative thoughts come to our mind, but I have been trying to always falter on the positive side of the things rather than assuming that somebody said something or that potential could be negative meaning. I know that I haven't been able to successful 100% on that, but I commit to you, Thakura, that when I do not have a clarity on things, especially with my friends, with my family, with other guys and mas and everyone around me, I promise you that I always try to falter on the positive side of the things and always try to see the good on others. And before I finish my Bhava Binimaya, ବହୁତ ଚାଲିଯିବା ଆଗରୁ ଶେଷ ବହି ତାର ଲେଖୁଥିଲା ଜଗଜନନୀ ବିଷ୍ଣୁପ୍ରିୟା. ସେ ବହିରୁ ଗୋଟେ ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଚରଣରେ ସମର୍ପଣ କରି ମୋର ଭାବ ବିନିମୟ ଶେଷ କରିବି. ସେ ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫ ବେସିକାଲି ସମରାଇଜେସ୍ the meaning and the growth of life. ଜନ୍ମେ ଜନ୍ମେ ଦୁଃଖ କଷ୍ଟ ଜୀବ ଭୋଗ କରେ, ସପନକୁ ସତ୍ୟ ମଣି କଷ୍ଟକୁ ଆଦରେ, ରାତ୍ର କାଳେ ସପନରେ ଦେଖେ ଯାହା ନର, ସତ୍ୟ ପରି ପ୍ରତେ ହୁଏ ମିଥ୍ୟା ଜଗତର, ଏହି ରୂପେ ଏ ସଂସାର ମିଥ୍ୟା ହୋଇଥାଇ, କଳି କହିଲେ ବି ସତ୍ୟ ପରି ଲାଗୁଥାଇ, ଏଣୁ ଏ ମାୟା ବନ୍ଧନୁ ମୁକ୍ତ ହେବା ପାଇଁ ପ୍ରଭୁଙ୍କ ପଦାର ବିନ୍ଦେ ମନକୁ ଲଗାଇ ସକଳ ବିଷୟା ବିଷ ପରାୟ ମଣିବ ଏ ସକଳ ପ୍ରଭୁଙ୍କର ମନରେ ଭାବିବ ଅନ୍ତକାଳେ କେହି କିଛି ନ ନେବେ ସଂଘର ଧନ ରତ୍ନ ଦ୍ୱାରା ସୁତ ବନ୍ଧୁ ପରିବାର ଏହି କଥା ମନେ ଭାବି ପ୍ରଭୁଙ୍କ ପଦରେ ସକଳ ସମର୍ପି ଦେବ ଆନନ୍ଦ ମନରେ ସକଳ ଘଟରେ ପରମାତ୍ମାଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖିବ ନିଜକୁ ପାଶୋରି ସଦା କର୍ମ କରିବ ସକଳ କର୍ମ କରିବ ଜୀବ ସେବା ପାଇଁ ସତ୍ୟ ଶାନ୍ତି ଦୟା କ୍ଷମା ଚିତ୍ତେ ଥିବ ବହି ବିଷ୍ଣୁ ରୂପ ଗୁଣ ସଦା କୀର୍ତ୍ତନ ଚିନ୍ତନ ତେବେ ଏ ତ୍ରିଗୁଣ ରଜ୍ଜୁ ହୋଇବ ଖଣ୍ଡନ ସଂସାରର ମାୟା ଫାସ ହୋଇବ ଖଣ୍ଡିତ ହୃଦୟ ତମସା ରାଶି ହେବ ତିରୋହିତ ସେହି ପ୍ରଭୁ ଦିବାନିଶି ସେହି ପ୍ରଭୁ ନାମ ଦିବାନିଶି ଚିନ୍ତା କଲେ ଭକତର ତମ ନାଶ ହେବ ଅବହେଳେ ଜୟ
Jai Guru. Next year, in 2027, we will celebrate 25 years of AMSIS. I feel deeply fortunate and blessed by Thakura that, except for the very first one, I have been able to attend every Sammalini. Over the years, these gatherings have given me the opportunity to connect with Bhais Ma's fellow devotees who strengthen and support my faith. The Sangha Pujas, the discussions, scripture reading have also played an important role in my spiritual journey and in deepening my relationship with Sri Thakura. And yet, I realize that my journey of faith is still very much a work in progress. This morning, Vijay Bhai was reading from Sangha Sevaka. We spoke about doubt and that mind is the greatest obstacle on the path of faith and trust. It described this as a manifestation of a Rajasic guna. Interestingly, Braja Bhai also brought up the same topic during the QA session. Vijay Bhai's words immediately resonated with me, and I found myself reflecting on my struggle with faith, doubt, and trust. I believe in Sri Thakura. I have experienced his presence, and yet sometimes I struggle to accept that whatever he does is ultimately for our good. I'm aware I cannot see the larger picture, and I don't know what will happen even in the next minute, while he knows, sees, understands everything. Intellectually, I know this, but knowing something and truly surrendering to it are two very different things. I can see his external form, but I still struggle to experience him as someone who is perpetually within me. We read and hear about Pradap almost every day, in every discussion, every Sangha Puja. I believe in it. Yet accepting it is another matter. Sometimes I wonder, I don't even know what my karmas were in my previous birth. How then can I understand what I am paying for in this life? It feels like an information asymmetry. I'm being asked to accept the consequences of actions I don't even remember committing or doing. And yet, I cannot deny one thing. When you need Thakura, he's always there with you. That's the trust. Last year was particularly difficult for me. And that made me very angry with Thakura again. Like I said, that I do not know what is it doing and why is it good for us. When I was angry with him,
I questioned him, and truthfully, very honestly, I'll say that I even blamed him for my struggles and losses that I was going through. With time, however, I admit I began to realize that some of the things that happened were actually for the best, even though I could not see it at the time. However, there's still other things I struggle to understand. Perhaps as time passes, I will come to see their purpose as well. Maybe that is where my real spiritual struggle lies. I know that faith asks me to accept what I cannot actually always understand, but I'm not there yet. Perhaps faith is not about having no doubts, but about continuing the journey despite them. To continue to walk with Thakura even when we don't understand the path, trusting that one day he will help us see why we had to walk it. In my daily life, I do my kriya at least once a day, read the scriptures, do my puja twice a day, complete my dhanasana. This discipline has actually brought structure and awareness into my life. But when I ask myself how much I have truly progressed spiritually, I honestly don't know. I cannot measure it. I cannot even be sure that all these practices have translated into deeper faith or greater surrender. Perhaps that too is something only Thakura knows. Maybe this is my journey of faith, that not that I have stopped doubting, but that despite my doubts, I have not stopped walking with Thakura or trusting Thakura. Jai Guru.
Jagurma, please invite Thakur for Madhyana Bhava and evening puja.
Jai Guru Bhai. Jai Guru. As we come to the end of our Sangha Puja today, I humbly invite Shri Shri Thakura for the Madhyana Bhava and invite all devotees at the Asan Mandir to receive the prasada. I also invite Shri Thakura to bless to attend today's evening puja and invite all bhais, Mars, and young aspirants to join the puja. Jai Guru. भाई क्षमा प्रार्थना करते थे
नाम आप इन्विटेशन अछि प्रत्युष
Jai Guru, I invite Sri Thakur, all Bhais, Mas, and young aspirants to the next Sangha Puja being held on Sunday, August 23rd. Jai Guru.
संजीत भाई
जय गुरु आमर आसंता संघ पूजा पाइका मु श्री ठाकुर महाराज भक्त भाई माँ आउ यंग आश्रम मान को निमंत्रण जनाऊँगी आमर पूजा जोगदे पूजा टी सफलमंडित करवा आमको सेवार सुजोग देवे जय गुरु हाँ ये आमर ये भाई कहले विजय भाई कहले जे आज संध्या पूजा निशी पालन अच्छी संध्या पूजा 5टार हम जय गुरु
अच्छा विजय भाई भोग आज भोग अच्छे देवे आप देवे कि मुझे जानी किए देवे सीधे ठाकुर जन देवे भितर
आज्ञा हम जनईदेवी
मध्याह्न भोग जन देवी ठाकुर उषा
Jai Guru. Chemu, Sandeep Bhai, and I are the Palyas for today's Sangha Puja. On behalf of all the Palyas and the devotees performing various sevas, I humbly ask Sri Thakura for forgiveness for any mistakes or shortcomings we may have made knowingly or unknowingly while carrying out our sevas. I also sincerely ask for forgiveness from all the Bhais, Mas, and young aspirants for any mistakes, oversights, or shortcomings on our part during our Pali for the Sangha Puja. Jai Guru.
দীননাথ এহি ভিক্ষা করে শ্রীচরণে দীননাথ এহি ভিক্ষা করে শ্রীচরণে তব কথা রাখিথিবি মননে স্মরণে প্রভু তব কথা রাখিথিবি মন স্মরণে বাহারে কি হেলা নাহি নকরি শোচনা বাহারে কি হেলা নাহি নকরি শোচনা করিবি প্রথমে নিজ স্বভাব মার্জনা দেব করিবি প্রথমে নিজ স্বভাব মার্জনা পর দোষ খোঁজি বলে নধাইব মন পর দোষ খোঁজি বলে নধাইব মন লাগিথিবি সদা করি আত্মসংশোধন দেব সগিথিবি সদা করি আত্মসংশোধন বচনে আলাপে হেউ রসন সংযত বচনে আলাপে হেউ রসন সংযত ঝুলসি যাও অবসাদ দেহর জড়ত্ব প্রভু ঝুলসি যাও অবসাদ দেহর জড়ত্ব উচিত ভাষণে নহু କିଛି ଅନ୍ତରାୟ ଉଦିତ ଭାଷଣେ କିହୁ କିଛି ଅନ୍ତରାୟ ଯଥା କର୍ମ ହେଉ ଚିତ୍ତ ବୁଦ୍ଧିର ସହାୟ ପ୍ରଭୁ ଯଥା କର୍ମ ହେଉ ଚିତ୍ତ ବୁଦ୍ଧିର ସହାୟ ନିରଳ ସ୍ୱଭାବେ ତବ ଆଦେଶ ପାଳନ ନିରଳ ସ୍ୱଭାବେ ତବ ଆଦେଶ ପାଳନ କରିଯିବି ହେଉ ଚାହିଁ ପ୍ରାଣର ସୁରଣ ପ୍ରଭୁ କରିଯିବି ହେଉ ଚାହିଁ ପ୍ରାଣର ସୁରଣ ନ ମାନିବି ଚାହିଁ କେଉଁ ବାରଣ ବନ୍ଧନ ନ ମାନିବି ଚାହିଁ କେଉଁ ବାରଣ ବନ୍ଧନ न मानिबी कहीं केहू बारण बंधन न मानिबी कहीं केहू बारण बंधन जही ठाए रही थाऊ तब पदे मन प्रभु जही ठाए रही थाऊ तब पदे मन 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 प्रभु जही ठाए रही थाऊ तब पदे मन जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय जय गुरु 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 जय गुरु
जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु महाराज के जय गुरु जय गुरु जय गुरु।
जय गुरु भाई मैंने मो तरफ किसी आनंदमेंट नहीं देख लेगा नहीं निश्चित है